This is a conversation that we would have regardless, except today we have mics. So we have highly requested a return guest to the podcast.
Ooh.
Woohoo! Welcome, Julie-Anne Nayler, which sounds so official for how we speak to each other. But here we are. Truth be told, this is what our third or our fourth attempt at this.
Yeah, this is our third. Third
Yeah,
or no, fourth. I think you're right. Fourth.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we have tried to record this podcast episode 4 times over the last month, and something always came up or something happened. And really, it was prompted because I had this random idea probably 2 months ago. I was like, why don't we do like a mini series on the podcast? We could record it every 4 to 6 weeks, but we get asked all of the time about our friendship, but also about each other on each other's channels. A lot of people follow both of us and have learned about each other. And people are often really curious about our dynamic and also seeing how we have supported each other without feeling competitive and like literally have rode for each other. I'm not saying ride or die because I'm not a fan of that anymore, but we ride hard for each other. And so it's often rare in female friendships. So thank you for saying yes. We're finally here.
I know. I'm so happy to be here. And I think, like you said, so many people, I get fascinated because so many people bring that up about our friendship. Like they bring it anytime, like it's mutual friends, that topic comes up. They'll ask like, oh, like you guys been friends for so long. And they're just like curious of like you said, like I said, our dynamic or curious of maybe our conversations or how we support. And I do think it comes up a lot, but the whole concept of competitiveness. And you know what I find interesting is when you and I first met, we are a lot of our in the beginning, because of where we were at, a lot of our conversations, we mentioned this before, it was like body but purpose, and it was like it was really like around like I feel body, fitness, image, like in our own purposes but within
Mhm.
ourselves. And that would be a prime time where I think people where women would be competitive. It would be like there would be like a
100%.
secret competitiveness. And then I feel like it's swapped over time. And then we were both like working on our like, I don't know, like our businesses or purposes or therapy, or you were doing training. I was doing like if you think about it, it was
I
like
know it's wild.
simultaneously doing random things that we could have competed against each other. So you think of like your studio, and then I had opened a studio, a franchise, really taking on the franchise name, like personal training. And then we were both doing like we wanted to do like women's events or like I don't know. Don't you think that's funny?
It is, and I
Now that
actually
I
didn't
think
really.
about it, like now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like we've always done things that could have pitted us against each other.
It's so true, and I think, like, to be honest, I actually didn't think of that until you said it. I was like and then if I think about this season, where we both said goodbye to fitness,
Yeah.
and now we're both walking in the original thing that we both had on our heart a decade ago when we first met. And so I think, like, thinking about, like, we both did fitness, and we both always talked about matters of the heart as part of our fitness business because it was never just about appearance. And I think for me, as somebody who was the bigger body, I was typically insecure, and you never made me feel that way. And so that was never an issue. And it was, but we've had so many conversations around body image and
Yeah.
like, but also our bowel movements. Like we went,
Legitimately.
we went like the whole gamut, whole spectrum. And for me, who was like doing stuff on TV and stuff like that, and you were never jealous. You were always my biggest cheerleader, always the first person to share and post, to congratulate me, even in the dark. Even when I launched my book, I was not in a great space, and you were like, "I'm taking you out for dinner. We need to celebrate this milestone." And you have celebrated me like at every moment, and like even you get moving along in your career, and like all the things you were doing, like it just went back and forth, and it wasn't one sided. And I find a lot of times we can ride for people and feel disappointed, and I'm so grateful that that has not been our dynamic
No,
at
no.
all, ever.
No, I don't think so. And I will say, and I mean, realistically, like if people were to ask or women were to say, like, okay, so there's never been thoughts. I think that we could both genuinely say
But
we've
yeah,
had thoughts creep in, or you might be like, oh, like why her? Why not me? But you know what? I always found the difference of, and I've said it before. It's like there's been times where I've been like, my gosh, like are you kidding me? Like, you're getting this, this, and this, and this, and I'm over here getting this and this, or like you're, I don't know, like you're losing weight and I'm over here and I'm not, but it's never about you. I think that's the difference.
Mhm.
Like the frustrations or the thoughts might come in, which I think is
Mhm.
like human, but I never interpret it as a jealousy thing, I think. Like
Yeah,
I've always
and
just interpreted it as like a, oh, like, okay, like iron sharpens iron a little bit. Like, okay, okay, well, I want to. Like, I wanna do that too. That's how I viewed it. I don't know. What about you?
I agree, like, we'd be lying if we said we didn't those thoughts didn't come, like, you getting engaged, like, right? Like, there's you got things that I didn't get and vice versa, right? But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's never tainted how we treated each other, and I think we've also both grown in ways where we can actually, like, talk ourselves out of those things. At the
Yeah.
same time, I think that
Yeah.
that also speaks to our own growth individually as well. I mean, it hasn't affected how we have rode for each other. Um, and then also, I think, like, even when we both have opportunities that are unique, like when I would have events that were put on by brands, you were always there. I always made sure you were coming up with me. I always made sure you were invited, and the same goes for you too, like including me in your events. And like it's gone both ways, and it's never. I think also like neither of us were trying to prove anything with each other, and so it was never out of this disdain of like we're in competition. We're doing the same thing. Let's see who can get to XYZ. Like it's never been that dynamic. And I
Yeah.
think that that's where a lot of women relationships can go is the competition then not it's a seed that then grows to a tree that dominates. And we don't ever
Yeah.
allow for that.
Yeah.
I think that that's like a big piece to it. And if we weren't both growing, that could not have happened.
Agreed. I think that's the piece too. It's like if you're not actively growing and you might have seasons where, one person might be a little bit more at like, I don't know, well, like 80% and the other person is feeling at like 50% and then you flipped like the other person, but I think the difference is it's like an ebb and flow and you
Mhm.
both constantly grow together. But if you're not growing, man, you can see the drastic differences. Sorry.
Julie and her alarms.
My alarm just went off. I thought my phone was totally on silent. It should be on. There we go.
Even
Yeah,
that,
I
I know Julie and her alarms. She forgets things, and so she makes a to-do list with her alarms, and it's
always
constantly constant. So now I know. I don't even doubt, "Oh, what's on your to-do list? What are you supposed to be doing right now?"
so I
Always.
know. I
Snooze, snooze, snooze.
know so much. That's how I get with life. It's how I do life. That's
It works
honestly.
for you.
I know at work too, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I have like 55 snoozes." Like I'm like, but it works for me. So that's how I get with life. I was gonna say though, like, do you think in terms of growth and like dynamic and those pieces, like I've noticed a difference in this season where people aren't growing and to it's really hard to then relate in the relationships. It's really hard. Like, have you and I know we both have small circles-ish. I
Mhm.
think I probably have more proximity, but have you noticed a difference? Like, have you noticed a shift in any friendships over the years or currently or
Absolutely. Like, there's friendships that I had that I thought I was gonna have for life, that I no
yeah,
longer have because they weren't growing and then making decisions that I no longer aligned with, and so I couldn't be fr I just couldn't. I also had a lot of people, like, as I was growing, look down at what I was doing, like, the backlash I got when I started sharing on social media 15 years ago, people thought I was crazy and full of myself, and I was like, "This literally has nothing to do with me."
right.
Like, I knew that there was a greater purpose to it, and then even now, like, my circle is small because I find it really difficult to find people who can even, like, have capacity to think about such heavy things that are going on and the direction that I know that God has called us to, and so when I have new friends, like, I have a couple new friends that infiltrated because they are in that space. And so it's also so there's 2 sides to it. There's the friends who are not in the growth, and then it's categorizing them as more like acquaintance, still enjoying time and joyful, but there's like a time and place, or like kind of leaving some of those behind. And then there's the new people you meet who you're like, "Whoa, they match where I'm at," or at least keep up, and this edifies each other. I'm gonna explore this further, and it becomes really powerful. What about you?
Yeah. I have noticed over the years that you're always gonna have staple people that
Mhm.
could be like, they're your lifelong friends and they're always there, but there's different I've always known that there's, like, different seasons and there's different types of friendships. I think that's something that I've always recognized over the years, so, like, I always give, like, the example of, like, the leaves, the roots, and the branches. Like, you have the friends that are like the leaves, they just come for a season and they might be in and out, and then you have, like, the branches that can hold a little bit more weight
Mhm.
in your circle, and then you have the roots that are like, they're your lifers, lifelong. And I think the difficulty that I've realized over the years is I was trying to figure out where I thought some people were roots,
Mhm.
and then I was like, "Oh, maybe they're branches," and then I realized, like, no, they were seasons, or they were seasonal friends, but I didn't realize till too late because I thought that they were not seasonal. I thought that they were branches, or I was trying to make them into branches,
Mhm.
or I was trying to make them into roots, and then you quickly realize that when seasons happen and changes happen and things happen, it really is true. Like, when I got engaged, that magnified a lot for me.
Yep.
When I lost my mom, it magnified a lot for me. When I went through a hard time, like, even prior to that, or when I had, like, I don't know, like, moments of vulnerability, it magnifies things.
Mhm.
And you really do. When I was had, I don't know, lower moments or more crisis moments, like, those things magnify who your friends are or where they're placed in your life. And so for me, like you said, I think that interestingly enough, it's not like new people are showing up for me, whereas I think new people are showing up for you, which is really
Mhm.
interesting. But I think some people have been falling off for me and I've been distancing, and that has been, to the point where, I recognize being removed from someone who I thought was, on social media, that I thought
Mhm.
was a lifer, not a lifer, but like maybe a branch. And that's weird. It's just like a weird concept to think about but I think that it's necessary, and now I get it. It's necessary when you're, like, trying to grow and you're trying to implement, and you truly need people that can edify you. I think that's a great word, and help you see your potential when you can't see it yourself. But if you have, like, clowns around you that can't see you know what I'm saying? Like, they can't see you for who
Mhm.
you are, where do you think they're gonna lead you? Where do you think you're gonna go? Like, show me your friends, I'll tell you who you are. It really is true,
It
and I
really
think about that
is.
all the time. I think about that all the time now. I never did before because it was a social butterfly, but now I think about it all the time.
I would say I'm the same too. Like I was always everybody's always at my house. I always wanted to be around lots of people, and now I'm like I'm more conservative of my energy, and I notice how people affect my energy. So whether
Totally.
it's life giving or life draining, and I don't have capacity for any other draining. I'm already exhausted. So it like magnifies those things, and I think also like just to acknowledge like the emotion that comes with either recognizing that, like, a relationship isn't a root that you thought it was, like, it doesn't mean that it's easy, and there can be often grief that comes with that, but also I think the other side to it is, like, recognizing we had a beautiful time in the season, and I'm grateful for that, and it doesn't have to be a bitter thing, not that that's the situation, but, like, for both of us, like, it doesn't have to be a bitter thing, like, I've had similar, and so it's, like, just learning to, like, let go and be okay with it, and also not associating, like, your value and your worth to it. It always comes back to value and worth for us, and our uniqueness about, like, the unique seasons we've been in
Yeah.
and hashtag no new friends was a thing for a while, but for me,
No.
like, as a mom, for me, like,
We
it's
both
been
said that.
really was for so long because it was just, like because we recognized the
I
energy
know.
that things would bring, and we were like, "Whoa, like, this is a
Yeah.
lot."
Yeah.
And, like, our schedules are insane. Like,
Yeah.
I work full time, am a mom, and I'm running everything on the side. And you work full time and are running on stuff on the side and preparing for a wedding. And like, there's so like, if you guys actually saw insight into our schedules and our actual
So busy.
WhatsApp chat, and we don't text, we don't have time to text. We voice note while we're driving.
It's so
Like
true.
that's or while we're walking. Like we multitask. That's like a big part of our relationship. Thank God for voice notes, but also thank God they're encrypted.
Yeah. I will say if people want to know how, I mean, if people are even interested, this seems like it that like want to know how we do things. That's how we really do things. We really maximize our time because we don't see each other all the time. And I think people also have that like we do a lot of voice noting and then we plan intentional time as like within our schedules, like the flow of it all, right?
And you're one of the very few people that plans also around seeing Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And that it's not just the time when we see each other isn't always just like fun time, but you're like intentional about also seeing her and also including her. And so for me, like a lot of people are like, "Oh, we don't see you." And I'm like, "Well, you don't make any effort with me and my kid. Like she's an extension of me, right?" And
Yeah.
so there's that part of
100%.
the dynamic as well too for me that it like, obviously, I chose you as her godmother for a reason, for a lot of reasons, but the intentionality there is, like, just even doing stuff with my kid, like, a
Yeah.
lot of people don't, and it's like, well, I have her 6 nights of the week, sometimes 7, so
Yeah. Legit. It has to fit in. It has to fit in.
yeah,
100%.
yeah,
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like it's interesting where life has taken us. That's for sure in
yeah,
our friendship.
and even when we do stuff, it's, again, multitasking, so it's very rare that you will catch us just, like, going for dinner or going for coffee or going for breakfast. It is usually followed by a walk. It's
Yeah.
something we've done even when Brooklyn was a little still in a stroller. Like, we would go meet for breakfast, have time together, go for a walk, and it was usually also centered around making sure we had time just to, like, verbal diarrhea to each other, and I think that that's probably where, like, people are like, "I wish I could be a fly on the wall," and I'm sorry that is not an exclusive this is as exclusive as you're gonna get in terms of that, but, I guess that's what this whole point is, you being a fly on the wall in, like, the things that we talk about. So maybe we switch directions. Maybe we talk about the seasons we're currently in
Yeah.
and kind of what's going on. So what's going on with you? Fill the people in.
Oh my gosh, I am in a crazy season. I feel like, as most people know, and if you don't know, I'm, grieving my mom. It's still freshly new for
Very
me.
fresh.
I think 4 months. It's not a
Very fresh.
long time. So grieving my mom while just entering into a new permanent full-time management role. And then at the same time planning my wedding, which is not just one, but it's 3. So it's like 3 different things. So
You thought a destination wedding was going to be the easier way to
I
do
thought that was
things.
it. And then I was like, and then we're doing a traditional wedding and we're doing a justice of the peace. And then it's coordinating like so all of those and then coordinating all the things that lead up to that. And then also running my private practice and coaching business. So I'm in a season right now where I've had some of like my therapy has been like therapy clients has been going on, but coaching clients, I'm trying to ramp up and in genuineness, like I'm in a season where it's like I keep saying it, but it's like
Mhm.
I can feel like I'm about to blast off and but it's not there fully yet. Like I don't, but I'm doing the thing all while working out and walking and doing all that stuff too,
And
you
taking
know?
care of yourself and food
And
prepping
taking
for you and Mike and
Literally, I do all the food prepping for Mike and I, and he'll be mad that I said that, but I'm like, I
also,
do, so
also so we're clear, her fiance's name is Mike.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just so
No,
we're clear. It's not my
yes.
ex Mike.
Yeah,
Just so we're
my
very
Mike.
clear. Her Mike.
My Mike. Yeah, doing the food prepping, like, all the things, like, just the normal things, right? The invisible load as
Mhm.
also, right? Of,
Mhm.
like, household and all that kinda stuff, right? And then like, spending time and intentional time, obviously with my fiancé too, and then with my family and with my dad, and also in the season of grief,
Mhm.
like, making sure that I'm intentional with my dad and my sister and my family. So, like, I'm in a season where there's a lot going on. There's just a lot, maybe not always physically happening, but, there emotionally and psychologically, there's a lot, but it's a good season. Like, I feel good, I feel content, but there's definitely a lot of moments where we'll talk about where,
Mhm.
like, I have the frustration, I get really irritable, like, I'm like, "When is it gonna happen? When"
Mhm.
I don't wanna feel like I'm just, like, one thing to the next. Like I want to feel the flow. I want to see the full picture. And so that's also can be hard while enjoying all the things that I'm doing. So it's definitely a busy season, but I don't feel exhausted because I love what I'm doing. I just can feel the anticipation of knowing that there's something more,
Mhm.
and I just am like, "Okay,
It's like on the
God,
tip of your tongue.
can I just have the more?"
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kinda the season I'm in.
And I would say, like, even in the last 3 months, I've noticed a huge shift just even in you acknowledging, like, even during this journey of grief of like, "Yep, I got emotional. Yep, I'm sorry if I'm going there
Yeah.
for you." But I
Yeah.
think for you that is a very big piece of, like, a little bit of your guard coming down in another way as well, and for me, that tells me, like, so much work that you've done in terms of, like, your healing, your regulation, and those kinds of things as well, and, like, masks completely coming off and just, like and acknowledging it, and also, I've had to learn, like, I not go, "I'm so proud of you," like, in those moments as well, like, we've learned each other's, like,
Yeah.
what works and what doesn't,
Yeah.
and that I think that is something that's, like, really unique that has come from this season that has been really challenging at the same time and really hard and heavy, and I think also knowing, like, what my sister went through losing her husband, I remember everybody just disappeared after he passed away, and they had no idea what to say, so they just didn't say anything, and I knew that I was like, "I'm not going to be that friend," because I remember how frustrated and broken she felt, and, like, I think it especially the first year where there's so many firsts, and
Yeah.
it's the first emotion of things, and even though you were grieving for a few years before she was gone, this is like her physical presence, and there's, like, nothing there,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so not to highlight and magnify that, but, like, it is a
No.
very real thing, and I think that that's the beautiful part about I think probably one of the most things I'm grateful for our relationship is how we've also learned to read each other and figure out what each other needs that doesn't fulfill something in us. And that's where the
Yeah.
selflessness comes for both of us. And it's not just one-sided. And I think that like when I think about like how you've had to support me and thank God our times have been staggered.
Yeah.
But like when
Yeah.
I think about like how you had to support me starting life all over again and like how you had to be in my corner cheering me on to make sure I didn't collapse emotionally,
Yeah.
physically, and in all ways, right? And that I just didn't give up hope and you helped me show up for myself and like I hope that I'm able to do the same with you with like just even listening and knowing that like sometimes you just need to talk and I just need to listen. I don't need to have a
Yeah.
solution and we talked about this in our first episode as well, but I feel like so many of the things that we've learned about each other is like what you would anticipate in a partner as well that you were
Yeah.
like spending your life with. Like, I hope
Yeah.
to God that whoever I end up with has some of those things that you have because I'm like, if it wasn't for that, I don't know how. Some days I'm like, if Julie wasn't here, what would have happened? Right? Like,
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
pieces are important. And I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah, I think that that's a really true piece to say, and I think that that's a really big part that interplays, like, into our friendship and the transitions that we're in and how it's helpful is understanding each other without any other, like, motive, like, truly just being like, "Okay, I can see this," or and you what's cool about it, I feel like we can recognize each other's weaknesses, like, we can
Hmm.
or we can recognize each other's, like, annoyances and things like that, but we know when not to push the button, and I think
Hmm.
that
Yes.
I think that that's been helpful because I've had friendships where, like, and I'm pretty direct, and you've always
Yeah.
known me as direct, but
And I'm not. I'm the opposite
right,
until
right,
recently.
but I've learned, like, okay, I can say this or I can ask permission.
Hmm.
And then you'll say like, "No, this is not." I think over the years we've learned that, like, in times where I'm like, "Hey, like, do you want me to say, like, what I'm
Hmm.
thinking?" And then you're like, "No," or like, "Not right now," or "Okay, yeah," or,
Or do it
or I
gently.
know, right? Or if you're like, or if I know, like, you're shorter, okay, it's because she's in her feels, like, and she doesn't need me to, like, now compile on, like, she knows, or vice versa, we've always say it, like, I process so much, and sometimes I just want to say it, and I don't need anybody to say anything else, like, I just wanna 'cause for me, just talking about it, ironically as a therapist, but just talking about it is helpful. It helps me release, but I think that that's one thing I am grateful for is I've also seen really, like, how much in this season of my own vulnerability, how you've been very gentle when I've also been, like, snappy back because I'm confused. Like, I'm confused of what I'm feeling and I don't know, and you're doing nothing wrong. So you've been very gracious to be like, "Okay, let me like, okay, it seems like I'm saying this," or you'll explain it. But it's communication, which is what you
Mhm.
do want in a partner too. So it's like, you gotta, like At the end of the day, you gotta communicate, and I think that that's why we have grown so much, because I do feel like we can communicate to each other to say, "This is how I'm feeling," or like, "Can you not do that?
Mhm.
Because it doesn't make me feel good, and I don't know why. It has nothing to do with you, I just
I don't
you
like it.
saying you're proud of me, I don't know. I don't know why that bugs me. That's a inner thing that I gotta deal with. It has nothing to do with, like, whatever it is,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And how we process things. Yeah, it's just it's interesting. But yeah, you've been very gracious in this season, like, to really, like, support me and just kind of, like, go with my waves of, like, "Oh, is she talking about it? Is she not talking about it? Because 'Cause I've been all over the place. But it's because I don't know. No one
Yeah,
prepares
and
you.
that's the thing, like,
Like,
no one tells you.
I'm just as confused as you, and that's what I tell people. Like, grief is weird. It's so weird.
It's complicated
It's
and
so
layered.
complicated. Yeah. And it's some days that, you're happy and some days you're sad and then some days you're annoyed and then some days
Mhm.
the person says the right thing on Wednesday and on Tuesday or on Thursday they say the same thing and you're like, "You're annoying, like, don't talk to me." Like, it's the weirdest thing. And you know that it has nothing to do with them. But anyways, you've been very gracious.
I wasn't looking for you to tell me I was gracious, but I'm glad
No, no,
it
but
has
we were
felt that
talking about our
way. Yeah.
season. And getting to know each other. What about you? So how would you describe your season right now?
I'm gonna get emotional. I didn't expect to. This season has actually been really painful, but also really beautiful at the same time. And there's a lot of stuff that happens behind closed doors, stuff that I thought I had dealt with, that I've had to put massive boundaries around. And that's been really hard. And it's hard to feel like I can't talk about it. I've talked about it with you, obviously, and my mom and sister, but there's just a lot that goes on behind. And it's hard when you are trying to do everything you possibly can to honor God in every single move that you make. And coming from a place of like complete desolation, like starting over when Brooklyn and I moved to my mom's, I was desolate. Like, and I think I've been reminded in the last 3 months, not even 3 months, last 3 weeks of like just revisiting that time that felt so dark and I felt so alone and like life was never going to look any other way. And then seeing what life is like now and I'm not struggling as bad and God has made a way. And I did take a year off. Like I think I see so much purpose in taking that year off just for like regulating my nervous system, one. And I think that that's why the last couple of weeks have felt really challenging because it's dysregulated my nervous system again because of what's happened while I was following what I know God was leading. And so it's really hard when you are trying to honor God in literally every single step and decision you make and being gaslit and attacked. And yeah, it's not felt good. And at the same time, I guess this is where I was going is it feels like even though I know that I've been honoring God and asking God every step, it's then made me question if I heard correctly. And that's not something that I have felt in the last couple years. I knew that I was hearing very clearly, and I know that I still am. So the fight back and the retaliation, I mean, shouldn't come as a surprise, really. And I think if I'm honest, like I haven't even expressed to you like how hard this has felt because there's already so many years of it. And I thought that I was past that. And so with that said, like I think things come up at certain times to be dealt with and like dealt with at the root. And so I'm doing that, and I know I'm talking between the lines a lot, but that's the real honest part, and I wasn't really gonna go there. And at the same time, like, I literally with the podcast was like, "Okay, I think it's time." And then God was like, "No, you need to let me open the doors." And so doors started opening, and I just started walking through them as they got opened. But I thought the podcast was it. I didn't think it wasn't in the realm of being of developing an app, building a business, as well as some other things that are coming. Like I just had no idea. And God has just kind of like orchestrated one thing at a time and not overwhelming me in the process. And at the same time, overwhelming me in the best possible way with ideas and strategy and thinking in ways that I've never thought before. Like, at the same time, having to set guardrails for myself so I don't go down a rabbit hole and exhaust myself because I was working till midnight because more ideas kept coming. So I've had to like put restraints. And that's what this season has been, I guess, for me is like having boundaries in place to continue to go and to continue to take, excuse me, one step at a time. And I think a big piece of all of this coming has come from me allowing myself to dream again and
Yeah.
actually saying what I desire and writing it down. So going back to that journal in March of like, God really laying out on my heart, like, you and it's similar to, like, after my divorce, like, my mom said to me after a couple of years, "Okay, it's time to stop surviving, it's time to start dreaming,"
Yeah.
and so now I'm seeing the trends of, like, when we go through something hard,
Yeah.
God takes us through this journey of healing and restoration and allows us to rest, and then in the rebuilding, part of the rebuilding is dreaming again and
Mhm.
allowing yourself to actually do it rather than keep it suppressed, and I think that that sprouted up things that I had no idea about, and it also reminded me, like, the things of who God created me to be, and, like, even in the last year, time with my dad, like, my relationship with my dad hasn't always been an easy one, and just even seeing how he's supported me in the last year and also how we think so similarly and how strategically and, like, business-wise, like, it's an acumen I got from him as well as, like, being a people person and outgoing, and if I think about it too, I was, like, taking pictures with him on Father's Day and brought a tripod to set it all up, and I think about him like, I grew up with my dad being, like, a photographer on the side and doing business and an entrepreneur, and it's like, "Oh, wow," it's like those little things that I didn't think of too, and then from my mom's side, I get, like, her empathy and her softness and her femininity, and if you think about, like, how I've tapped into my femininity in this season, like,
Yeah.
pink was
No.
never a color. Dark purple, bright
Mm.
coral, loud in your face, and I'm like, "Let me be the softest version of myself." Where my new home is all designed around being pink and beige and light and airy, like, everything is pink, like, I don't know what happened, but I think it was intentional. I think that God had to take the hardness out of all the pain and kinda
Yeah.
strip it out in a gentle way, and this is me flourishing in the season of God wanting me to have the soft feminine and not have to be strong because she had to be strong, and dropping that and leaving the past in the past. That's a very roundabout way of saying all of it, I think.
Well, you know what I think, about this season 2 and how it shifts things is, like, I think that a lot of the hard moments and, like, the trials and tribulations and the things that you've gone through, I think you're seeing I think you're seeing a difference in your relationships, and I think you're seeing a different because you're also inviting a different, like, energy and space because there is a softness there. There is, like, more of a gentleness there. So I really do believe that, like, I think that in the hard seasons that you've been even up to now, like, I think in your approach and the healing that you've done, I think a testament to that is the outcome of why you're
Mhm.
seeing something different with your dad. I think
True.
that it is the outcome of seeing something different in the new friendships that you have. Because and I also think it's why you're seeing such a rebellion with certain relationships because of your softness, because that exposes and that brings forward people don't like that. The whole concept of, like, you kill them with kindness, like, the concept of when we're healed and we're soft and we're contained and we're composed and God is doing a work in us, it invites a different energy because we let go of the pain and we let
Mhm.
go of the hardness and we let go of those things. But then people, like, I don't know, they get,
It
like,
agitates
triggered.
them.
It
Yeah.
agitate, that's the word I'm looking for, like, it triggers and it agitates, and I think that that's where you see the contrast, like, I think that that's where the heart, like, you're like, "Whoa," because 'cause you're, like, in this soft era and healed era, and then you're like, like, "What is that? Like, what the heck? Like, this doesn't belong in the season that I'm in," and I think that that's why it feels probably even 20 times harder, when those things happen because it feels foreign. It doesn't feel like it belongs, and it also magnifies the things that you've let go. And then it's, like, right in your face, and you're like, is
Ever.
why are these hard things in my face? They're in my face, but it's so magnified because you've shifted. People don't like when you shift.
Mhm.
People don't like that,
When they
especially
can't
when you heal.
they can't operate the same way with you because you've
No.
shifted, right?
A hun
Yeah.
it demands a different
Version.
authority,
Mhm.
it demands a different boundary, you demand a different response, period, like, and that's why I always say the thing, like, of everywhere you place your feet, you have authority, like, in God and who you are, but, like, you It's why our confidence gets impacted when we I don't know, like, when we're not in alignment, right? So then when we start getting in alignment and we start healing, all of a sudden we're walking in spaces and we're doing things, but it demands a different energy,
Mhm.
like, people just naturally will gravitate or they naturally will react or and then we get shocked by the good, but then we also forget that we could get shocked by the bad things, but it's because people are reacting, it's because of our stance. That's why it's so important to, like, I think, like, in the things that I've been learning, even it's been a theme in the last while, but, like, count it all joy and count
Yeah.
in gratitude, and I think I'm really starting to understand that concept because
Mhm.
you sent me a sermon that you had listened to and I really liked it and I had listened to it and it was talking about that, like, the counting all joy and that, like, in tribulations and in
Mhm.
trials, taking it as, like, a God is taking me to the next level. There's something else coming, and if I can, choose all of the last freedoms that I have, which is my attitude in any given circumstance, Viktor Frankl says that, and I love that one too. That's the whole concept of counting it all joy. Like, that's the same concept. Like, if you can choose your attitude in any given circumstance and you're like, "No, I'm gonna ground myself in knowing who I am, being
Mhm.
grateful, knowing that I'm being developed, knowing that God is bringing me to the next season," we then come out of it process changed and lacking nothing. But that's
Yeah.
hard. I mean, I say that,
It
and that's
is.
easier said than done because we both have very many moments where we're like, "Oh
Yeah,
my
we
gosh, I'm
definitely
tapped
do.
out."
And we,
Yeah,
like, have meltdowns, but, like, even
yeah,
within 24 hours of, let's say, some situations happening in the last couple
yeah,
weeks, I
yeah.
also recognize that this had to happen and
100%.
create stronger boundaries, and there had to be a dynamic shift, and it's interesting that in my softness era, that I've also stood up for myself in multiple areas and relationships that I've never stood up for myself, and not out of anger, not yelling, because that was, like, the angry, "I have to be strong, Sarah," out of a, "No, this is my boundary. I will not do this anymore unless you wanna sit down and have a conversation about it." And leaving it and not feeling any guilt or shame of it, and I think that that for me is something I'm enjoying living without is shame and
Yeah.
saying, "This I if you can't work within this, I'm not sorry." I used to be sorry, but the people pleaser of me in this softness era has also dissipated, and I didn't expect that, and also, like, my turnarounds and reactions are much quicker, like, I'll get super emotional or super stressed out, but
Yeah,
my
way
oh
way
my gosh,
faster.
like, it used to take me weeks sometimes, and now I can rebound in, like, 4 hours often, sometimes
So
24
true.
hours, and that for me shows growth of, like, getting through it because I may just, like but that's again, like, having you, I can, like, verbal diarrhea and just get it out, process it, sleep on it, regulate my nervous system, and
Yeah,
then keep moving, right?
yeah, yeah. We've both we both our growth is, like, the opposite concepts. Mine is, like, talking more and being more vulnerable and letting my guard down, and yours is, like the bounce back faster. Because 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm normally, like, I'm gonna bounce and just keep going, right? And me, it's, like, stopping and
Yeah.
talking, so it's kinda funny. Our growth is different, but this is why it works.
Yeah.
It
It's
works.
so true. It's interesting hold on. It's interesting because when, we were preparing to we had no idea where this was going, guys. Like, there's literally, we were starting with, like, "We have a mic. We have no idea what we're
Yeah.
doing. We're here." But I
I
was
would love
reminded
questions, though. I would love so many
yeah, so
questions.
we're gonna lead to this. So,
Oh.
sort of. This is step 1.
Mhm.
I was reminded of a scripture verse, and I'm also reminded of a prayer, and my mom at my wedding I was divorced before 30, but most of the wedding was pretty bad except for this is about the only part that was wonderful. My mom shared about my friends at my wedding. Go figure. If that's not a
Right.
sign, that's a sign. But I remember as a little girl, I really struggled with friendships. I was bullied really heavily for being the big girl. I've been this height since grade 7. I was a size 12 at 12. I would come home in grade 5 with bruises on my body. The boys would beat me up during recess. And I was a loudmouth at the same time. And I wanted attention. Like, go figure. Nothing's changed. Okay, a lot has changed. But I remember my mom, like, I verbally remember my mom praying that God would give me amazing friends. And 2 of them are still in my life that were at my wedding that she was speaking directly to. But I was reminded of, like, our moms and they're praying together and, like, our moms we all met at the maternity home together and, like, the
Mhm.
significance of our moms being friends as well and us being friends. Anyways, we won't go there. We'll try not to go there. But I was just reminded of Proverbs 17:17, and this is one of the I remember being in Sunday school and this being one of my first scripture verses I memorized after Psalm 23. A friend is always loyal, and a brother is born to help in a time of need. Now, this is a New Living Translation. NIV is just the significance of a friend being like a sibling and is there for adversity. And I just was reminded of that and how powerful it is and how grateful I am for this dynamic. And like, it literally does feel like family. And like, we don't always agree. We both have different opinions on different things, yet it has never driven a wedge. If it did, it might have been 24 hours or like an hour. We blow over, figure it out, right? But I think that that is important to also talk about too, is like, doesn't mean that we've never argued. It's very rare
Yeah,
though. It's very rare.
yeah, yeah.
Like in the decade we've been friends, like we haven't really had major fights. Actually, we haven't really, but we don't always agree on like we
No,
have differences
no, we
of
have disagreement.
opinions.
Yeah,
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 and
a
we
lot of
don't always
disagreement.
like but like let's like people I don't want people to think like everything's sunshine and roses all the time. It mostly is, but like we don't there are things that we just don't foundationally agree on some point and that's okay. And that's where the respect piece comes in. Like we honor each other for what we never have to belittle each other. We never have to attack each other. We're not never name calling. Like it's never that. And I think that if I think about family, like that's what you are to me. And that our families have been intertwined and like and I'm just saying it because I think it's beautiful and when you can have a friendship on the basis of your faith and you
Mhm.
can talk about those things, like there's so many layers to us. There's the physical, emotional, spiritual, and being able to connect on all of those. Like I'm not joking. If you guys saw our group chat, we literally go from like our bowel movements to
Everything.
our dreams, the things that we have, like literally everything. Pictures, like God.
Annoyances,
Yep.
our finances,
Yep.
everything,
Everything.
everything.
But there's a trust there, and I think that that's where a lot of people have had a hard time is, like, finding that person to trust, and so I probably said it on the last podcast too, but if you, like, see, like, our dynamic and you're like, "Man, I wish I had something like this," pray. Pray.
Yeah.
Ask God to bring somebody into your life, like, even as I've been praying in this new season of, like, more community, like, that's something
Yes.
that I've been how long have I been talking about community and, like,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
love community, and I think both of us love community. We met in community, but also we wanna create community. It's always been such a fabric of, like, who we are and what we do together, separate, whatever, and it is so powerful and, like, now starting to see new relationships form and new communities, like, it is such a beautiful thing, and so if you're here like, "Oh, man, I wish I had a friend like Julie-Anne or Sarah," pray, ask God, like,
yeah,
"I really desire this," and just keep giving it to him, like, I was years without great friends. I was years
yeah,
without any kinda community, and I'm
yeah,
starting to see it happen, and I think it's better when it is orchestrated by God and it's actually something you desire rather than something you're settling for and, "Oh, this works." But,
yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like, the intentionality of it and kind of express to God, like, "This is what I would love. This is what I feel like I need." And I think also knowing at the same time, like, you working on you in that waiting season, it's just like waiting for a spouse, like, "Yes, would I love to meet the man of my dreams tomorrow? Yes, I would." But I'm also super content and am going to continue to heal and work on myself and be the best version of myself and enjoy my damn life now, right? Like,
yeah.
I'm not waiting for that. So those are the other elements I would say too. But the questions piece, what I would love to do is we do want to do this more often.
Mhm.
And we are opening up the floor to questions. So if you have questions, either for Julie, and it can be on therapy, coaching, her story. Well, what do you want to talk about in terms of questions? Anything you want to add there?
Anything, really.
Yeah.
I'm an op like, I think I'm I'm open yeah, I'm open to any questions, like, really, truly, because I think what's interesting too is, like, we both have, Sarah and I are similar in a lot of ways, but we have different opinions and
Mhm.
approaches, thoughts, but it's how I think you and I, like, when we talk about things, we see different like, viewpoints. So to me, I'm open to any type of question because I think that how I would respond to something might be very similar, but then maybe different than how you would respond and vice versa. But yeah, I'm open to anything. I'm game.
So ask Juju and Sarah. So drop this in the comments wherever you're listening to this podcast, and we'll take them on our next episode. Also, if there's something you'd like us to speak directly on, like a specific
Yeah.
episode, or if you want us to dive deeper in terms of like something regarding faith, something regarding therapy, a situation, how to handle certain things, fitness,
Yeah.
wellness, like how do you journey through certain parts of your life? Like, it doesn't have to just be friendship. Like, I mean, obviously that's fun, but like, I know that everybody is going through their own thing in their journey. So, wherever you are in your journey, like, what would be valuable to you? What would be helpful to you? And we may do one of these live eventually where we do some live and take some live call-ins, but we wanted to trust God with where this was going and kind of see what happens. We are also going to be coming up with a name.
Yeah.
I'd started working on a name, but nothing felt right. Does anything like fit right to you yet? Anything
Not
come to your mind?
I mean, not right now. I don't know. I don't know. I've always joked about that's not a thing, like,
But
when
that's
we talk
your thing.
but
That's
I
going to be your
know.
podcast show someday.
If I do
Putting it out there.
if I
Yeah.
do a podcast show one day, maybe one day. I don't know.
But
I
yeah,
have
if
to
you
think
know
about
Julie,
it.
that's like her blanket statement. That's not a thing. Like
I'll
when
say
she's
that's not
dealing
a
with
thing.
things like a man treats you a certain way, that's not a thing. S- Something happens at a restaurant, no, that's not a
That's not a
thing.
thing. Yeah.
It's gonna be merch someday.
This is why I'm saying if people ask questions, it'll be good because I think it's also something that I'm open to because you'll get, I think, much more candid responses, to be honest. Like, I think
Yeah,
it helps. It'll be much more candid, right? So, and you'll hear me probably say a lot of things like, that's not a thing.
Julie's also very funny.
Try to be.
She's like one of the smartest people I know and emotionally intelligent, but she's also hilarious. And
Try to be.
I,
But I
I
don't think,
think of your COVID times and your lip syncing videos, and I'm like, I
oh my
can't.
God. I just made one right before this.
You did? I
Another
have to go
therapy
watch it.
one.
I love it. It's not something I ever do, so I should just start doing them and saying I'm copying Julie.
You should. It's fun. They're fun. They're really fun.
I'm gonna have to find some random ones.
Yeah. I have to get back into it because Mike used to always say, he's like, I don't know why you don't do it. But
They're hilarious.
there's a whole, the creative side of me. Like, I am not like you. Like, Sarah is so good with like business and podcasts and all the things that I don't like doing. But the creative side of me is being like dramatic
Mhm.
and hosting and like animated and like doing TikToks, like stuff like that. Like, where Mike used to always say to me, like, I don't know why you didn't do that like multiple times during COVID. Cause he's like, you're so funny. And he's like, you lip sync really good. And I was like, I
You
guess
do?
I should. Yeah. So I got to get on it. I got to get on that. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Okay, so 2 things we're asking for you. Drop some
Yes.
questions.
Yeah.
What do you want help on? What's a situation that we can pour into? What's something we can pray for you about?
Yeah.
And then also coming up with a name for us. I was kind of trying to think of like I was kind of thinking like the red table, not the red table, but
Yeah.
like
I
that
know what you
kind
mean.
of, but
Like
not
vibe.
totally. Yeah, just not totally that intense energy. That's why I was like, what were the ones that I had written down?
Yeah. What did you
I
think?
had, okay, the unedited check in, which sounds too formal, where we differ, what we'd say to her. I kind of like that one.
I like that. Yeah.
2 mics and a Bible, the check in, or the same table. I kind of like the same table because it's like we're
Yeah.
both at the,
Good.
yeah. So, anyways, there's some ideas to get your juices flowing. Let us know what you think. We're up for
Yeah.
some creative juice there. Anything else you want to add in parting words?
I'm so happy to be here. And I think that I am so excited. And I hope that people do ask questions and see where this takes off. Cause I feel like we have so many things to offer.
I we really do.
Yeah. And
Okay.
this is so limited. So I'm excited.
Okay. I'm excited too. And we have no idea where this is going to go. And so we hope you enjoyed our banter and an inside look and being a fly on the wall.
Mhm.
You saw me cry. I think, did you cry?
I
No,
didn't
you didn't
cry.
cry. You didn't cry this time. I cried. I
I
always
didn't cry.
cry.
I cried last time.
True. But that's always another funny thing with us because I'm the crier. And so when I'm like, I'm crying, Julie's like, it means nothing anymore. Like you cry all the time. I cry at everything. I've already cried 3 times today outside of this conversation.
Okay. I cried earlier this morning. It's okay. We all have got tears.
Yeah, your emotions are welcome here, is what we're saying. Thanks for joining us. Let us know what you think below and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And I have something exciting coming next week after this episode as well. So stay tuned. We'll see you later.
Hey, guys.
Bye.